Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and members of jury. My name is Shrish Kapoor, and I'm here with my team to talk about Valeo's transformation vision. Now, before I get ahead of myself and get into the presentation, I want to talk about the quote that inspired the very philosophy of the solution that we came up with. A certain architect once said that a building is a machine. It's like a vehicle, it's a car. But we choose to live inside it, we humans. And that got me thinking. We have such standards when it comes to cars. We want, with each passing year, we want them to be sleeker. We want them to be faster. We want them to be more efficient, and we don't compromise. And why should we? And I thought, why not apply the same standards to the buildings we spend a majority of our time in? With that in mind, let's get to the introduction. Now, the reason my team is part of this collider is to facilitate Valeo's vision for 2030. Now, Valeo has already estimated that by 2030, it would have cut 45% of its emissions, not only across its own value chains, but also with its suppliers. Now, that comes to us. What can us humble students do to push that number bigger? How do we make it better? We'll talk about that later. Now, the Valeo company, we know it's a French multinational company that makes appliances and digital solutions for cars. Also, cute sensors like these. It has over 1,700 patents, so they must be doing something right. But its crown jewel in Prague is the R&D center at Stratnice. It has 900 employees, big servers pumping data into big labs that run 24/7. Trust me, I've been there. It looks like a Bond villain lair. Now, moving forward, here's Valeo's smart mobility and CO2 reduction goals. It's compliant to the business ambition for 1.5 degree centigrade reduction, and also, it is setting science-based targets to achieve those emission reductions by 2030, the ones that I just talked about. It also aims to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050, and we're going to make that happen. Now, our objective, we're going to transform Prague's iconic Valeo R&D center into a beacon of innovation, blending cutting-edge technology and sustainable practices for a smarter, greener future. How are we going to make that happen? Now, the agenda for this year's Collider was people, nature, technology. We thought, why not use the blend of all three? And this is how we did it. We're going to talk about the economics, the energy efficiency, but we're not going to compromise with the aesthetics and health, because employees, they deserve the best. Now, these changes that we have accounted for will lead into changes that are external and changes that are internal, more IT-based. Now, let's get to the external changes. Okay, yeah, I'm sure what you guys are thinking about right now with the building. Trust me, once we got there, we thought the same. As we arrived at the scene, immediately we were able to come up with some suggestions that would make the building look better. For example, the southern facade of the building, which is directly exposed to sunlight, that area during summers would waste a lot of energy. It's logical. They would waste a lot of energy maintaining comfortable temperatures for their employees. Now, its rooftop that you can see, the topmost part, it's filled with, just vents or something. But what we could do is put solar panels there, a canopy of them. Now, coming to the subroof section, it's ugly, it's barren, it's empty. What we thought what we could do is turn it into an employee's garden, a green roof. Then, coming to the parking lot. Now, from what we talked about and negotiated with the company representatives, we got to know that Valeo wants the building to be maxed out at 1,200 employees from 900. So that's 300 more people. We need more parking space. What are we going to do? We suggested construction of a multi-story parking with the roof of it turned into another solar canopy for energy. So this is what it would look like. This is the current building, and as you can see, they're the suggested changes. The perforated facade is basically for the southern facade of the building. It's a shading solution. The green roof is what I talked about, the roof solar canopy, and the multi-story parking and its canopy. Now, coming to perforated facade, this is inspired from a building in Graz. As you can see, it has this weird paneling. What it does is, it doesn't obstruct the view of the employees inside, but it makes sure that excess sunlight and that heat that we hate in summers doesn't get in. So, no more energy waste. Now, coming to the solar panels and the green roof detail. So the solar panels we have decided to use are monocrystalline panels with around 18 to 20% of efficiency. They're quite nice, bit expensive. They'll be aimed at the sun at an angle and placed on the roof as well as the parking structure, as I discussed. Now, this is the cross-section of the green roof. It's got multiple layers, all because of compliance requirements and safety. This is what it looks like in the end. It's greener, it's smarter, but most importantly, it's much more efficient. Now, every external change needs to be supported by changes in its management. And these are two digital solutions interlinked that we've come up with. The RMS application. RMS stands for Resource Management System. It could be a phone on an app on the employee's phone, or it's an all-in-one management system, unifying Google Calendar, meeting reservations, parking spaces, and any additional features that you might want to come up with. Think employee ID cards or something like that for security reasons. Now, coming to the parking system and its sensors, what we have decided is that when eventually the multi-story parking is going to be built, it's going to have these sensors that would essentially map out and ensure that when a parking space is filled, the employee can access and check for it, so no more 8 a.m. rush hour. This is what it would look like if drawn. As you can see, it's got parking sensors, parking solar panels, rooftop solar panels, and they all feed data into its own main server that is there at the location. And that is going to be running the digital resource management system that I talked about. Now, the additional benefit of this is upper management. Based on authorization, there's going to be a live dashboard that the upper management anywhere in the world would be able to access and look at. And it would have any data they would require for carbon audits or whatever it may be. And this system can also communicate with other R&D facilities of Valeo all across the world. Now, coming to the energy analysis of this. They're complex graphs, I know, but don't worry. All you have to look at is the triangle and the blue band. The blue band represents the ideal. It's where we want the energy analysis to be, but it's not. And this is of the current existing building. For the roof, the windows, and the certain walls. As you can see, they're all far away from the ideal. But when we ran the energy analysis of our new improved building, we were much more closer to the ideal in at least 2 of the cases. So, energy-wise, it's good. It's going to conserve stuff. Now, I'm a finance guy, so let's talk money. The return on investment for this, the estimated cost of building the panels alone, installing them, is going to be around 15 million Czech crowns. I don't know how much that would be in euros. You guys can do the math. But the amount of energy saved per day, according to our calculations, is estimated to be around 3,000 crowns per day. So, if you do the math, you'll see that it'll take only 13 years just by saving alone to make up for this investment that you would be making for the solar panels. And this system lifetime, in the worst pessimistic case, is still going to be alive for 25 years. Now, this is the BIM model comparison. As you can see, the existing building is going to have costs it's going to have the energy consumption going up. Because when you're using energy from a power grid, you're also open to geopolitical problems, external factors. But when you're reliant on your own sustainable energy, all of that goes away. It's a stable line. And the very best, it's 15% less than what Valeo would usually spend. So currently, the existing building, only 1% of it is powered by sustainable energy. But now, it's going to be up to 20, but at the very least, 15%. Now, after this building is transformed, it's going to serve as a benchmark, not only for other R&D buildings that Valeo has, but to any building, because it's a philosophy. Because sustainability isn't a rocket science. It's about making small changes that change the world. So, with that, I say, let's change the world one building at a time. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So let's open the floor for questions and discussion.
Any questions?
I see our representative of Valeo is still calculating the overall cost. Anyone else in the meantime have a question? Yeah, over there.
Thanks for the presentation. I would like to ask what's the method of financing? From what did you calculate it?
Should I answer? Sure. Yeah. We asked Valeo to provide us their consumption, and we calculated the area that we can install our solar panels, and based on that we had our estimations.
And did you take into consideration any subsidy or loan or other?
No, actually we didn't go to any studies. We just went directly to their consumption. And then we estimated it based on what we can produce.
But the first investment has to be huge, and then you pay it gradually.
Yeah.
So it will be just a huge investment from the firm.
Yeah, but you are putting 3 different parts to the building. You're not talking just about energy. You're talking about mobile application. And for example, you can add another features to the application like digital key, which it's a new building and they don't have it.
Yeah, thank you.
So it's not just one thing. It's not just energy.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, can I have a follow-up question? How much energy are you going to produce with all these panels on top of the Valeo roofs?
How much? We have in the study.
We have it in the study. We don't have the data with us right now, but
Where's the document?
we gave the document. Yeah.
500,000 jetcons. No,
What?
sorry, 500,000 kilowatt hours per year.
Per year.
Energy savings. So the roughly total consumption of the building is roughly more than 2 million kilowatt hour, and the energy produced by PV panels is roughly 500,000. Now we have only modeled the exterior of the building. We have not modeled the interior of the building. So all this is the direct implementation and direct cost reduction that we are getting.
Okay, thank you very much. I was interested to compare how you managed to put them at the angle. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Any other questions? Maybe some feedback from the challenge owner?
Valeo.
First of all, thank you very much for your time and for your effort. And the second was for me very interesting, quite interesting, that not only invest to, let's say, finance, but the second point of view is aesthetic. And it's very interesting point of view that not only invest to the, let's say, technology, but to the environment for employees. Thank you very much for this, let's say, different point of view.
Thank you.
We're flattered. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Final chance. Then if not, big round of applause for Virides.